are in this problem? So A would be 1/2, and that tells you some things. B, what is the coefficient in front of the x? So a 1. Yep, so when you don't see anything, it's a 1. And C in this case is -4. So let's talk about the ABCs of this standard form quadratic. What is the A telling you to do? What does that 1/2 do to the quadratic? Makes it shorter, right? Over 1 up 1/2, so it's less steep. And what else does it do? Concave, less steep, and concave up because it's positive. So it's going to be like one of these, kind of like a wide mouth U shape. So it's wider. The parent function is more this shape, right? So it's 1, 1, 2, 4, and 3, 9. So if those are half as steep, I'm going to go 1 1/2, 2, 2, and 3, 4 1/2. I'm going to change the y values to change the steepness. All right, how do I find my vertex? That's when I use -b over 2a, the formula that you're going to need to know. So -b in this case is -1, because it currently is +1, so I make it -1. And then what is 2 times 1/2? 2 times 1/2 is 1. And then what is -1 divided by +1? -1. So my vertex, the x value of my vertex is going to be -1. How do I figure out the y value? Plug it into the original equation. So I'm going to do -1 squared. That'll make it +1. Then I multiply by 1/2. So that'll give me +1/2. And then I'm plugging in -1 here. So that would give me -1. And I'm subtracting 4. So this is not going to be an integer. Let's see, I'm at what? -5 plus 1/2 would be -4 1/2. That's okay. I can find -1, -4 1/2 right here. So I'll let you finish writing down the vertex and then I'll zoom in on the graph because we need to do this over 1 up 1/2, over 2 up 2, and over 3 up 4 1/2. So if I zoom in a little bit, if I'm currently at -4 1/2, I'm going to be at just -4, right, when I go over 1 up 1/2. And then I'm going to go over 2 up 2 units. If I'm at 1/2, I'm going to go up like kind of in between, right? Because I'm starting at -4 1/2, so I'm just going to do those couple. This was a tricky one with that half of a vertical shrink. So this was, oh, my thing is shaking from like the, move it down. Over 1 up 1/2, over 2 up 2. And I can double check my y-intercept. My equation says the y-intercept should be at -4, right, from the c value. And yes, my y-intercept was -4. So there are 2 practice questions in vertex form. So vertex form is also on your quiz. These should be a little bit easier, but there's been some people that haven't been here. So let's just talk through these together because you can try them on your own when you get to the quiz review sheet. So tell me what's happened. Do I go left or right with number 4? Trick question. I actually don't go left or right, right? No lefts or rights because there's no parenthesis. What does this +1 do? Up 1. So that moves my vertex from 0, 0 to 0, 1. So my axis of symmetry is at x equals 0, vertical line through the vertex. So I'm going to plot 0, 1, and then you're going to tell me what shape this is going to be. The -2, that does 2 jobs. What's it going to do to my parabola? Flip over the x-axis upside down and double all these circle values. So 2 and 8. Right? I'm doubling the height of the y values. So over 1 and down 2 units, and over 2 down 8 units. So that would put me at -7 down here. So that's steeper, twice as steep and flipped upside down. How could I tell that this was not vertex form or standard form? Standard form would have had an x value, something inside that function. So this is just x squared and just a constant, so I know it's not standard form. So even though when there's not a parentheses, you might still have vertex form, not standard form. So look for if there's an a, b, and a c value or not. What's happening in number 5? So then +5 goes left 5, and the -3 goes down 3. So let me plot that. Left 5, down 3, and then I have to write the vertex. So -5 and -3, right? -5, -3 for my vertex. All right, see if you can plot the parent function from there, right? Because the a value in front is just a 1. So x equals -5, and you plot the parent function 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9. Hopefully you're getting good at the parent function. So we were at -3. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3 up 9. Will put me at 6. So use that axis of symmetry. I always count and then I kind of just mark it across from it because I know that it's symmetrical. So really, the 3 things that you're going to have to do on the quiz, I'm not going to go back to like absolute value and the stuff from last quiz, but you'll have to graph in vertex form. You'll have to graph in standard form. And I'll give you this equation. And you'll have to multiply binomials. And we're not going to get into much, like application problems, because we'll talk about that next week with min and max problems. Right now, I just want to know, can you graph it and can you multiply them? So let's practice multiplying once together here. This one, you're multiplying to go from vertex into standard form. And remember, when you multiply a binomial, you can't just distribute the squared. This is not x squared plus 25. No, no, no. This is x minus 5 times x minus 5. Use FOIL or the box method to get that answer, and then add 3 at the very, very end. So I'm not sure, what are most of you doing? Are you doing like the box method, or are you doing it in your head? So box method would be x minus 5 times x minus 5. Find your 4 answers, combine like terms. So see if you can multiply 7 first. If you want to go on to that second one, you can, but see if you can multiply x minus 5 times x minus 5 and know what you're doing. Restroom? Thank you. To get for the box method, we should have gotten, this becomes x squared minus 10x plus 25, right? When I combine my like terms, plus 3. So my final answer, x squared minus 10x plus 28. Are people still feeling pretty good on that? It seems like that was the homework you liked more than all of the graphing. So that's 1/3 of your quiz, right? So we've got to practice these 2 steps today. And it'll be like, a 4-question type quiz tomorrow. We only have like a half an hour class. Do you know the schedule for tomorrow? Maybe I'll just put it up for you. Because, review kind of by yourself or with a partner, and I can come around. So the steps for this last one, your first step is to do the box to multiply out this guy. Then you're going to distribute at the end for 2, and then at the very, very end, subtract the 1. So you'll figure out the answer to this trinomial, then distribute the 2, then at the very end, subtract the 1. So why don't you take a minute to try that? I'm just going to write my answer up while you're finishing here. Ran out of room. Anyone finish get the same answer that I did? 2x squared plus 4x plus 1. Okay. So this was my finished multiplication answer. Then I distributed the 2 only to the parentheses. Then at the very end, I added my constants together. So 2x squared plus 4x plus 1. That would be the hardest question I could ask for this type of skill. Yep.